Uh, so one particular day, we were like sitting in gym class, and this dude walks by and he flicks water in my face, and I didn't know. I thought the dude spit on me, and I was like, this dude just like spit on me. Like, I can't believe this dude just spit on me, you know. And I got up in his face, and we had some more. How dare you spit on me? I know you just didn't do that, you know. And I waited till we got back into the dressing room. We started getting undressed, and coughed up a loogie and spit it dead in his face. And the gym teacher came in. We were about to fight. Then the gym teacher came in and like broke it up and everything. And the very next day, he didn't do anything. We didn't, gym teacher broke it up, so we didn't get into it, anything. But the very next day, school let out, and I got a tap on the shoulder. And as soon as I turned around, this dude lit me up. Uh, Worst butt whooping I done had in my life. I'm talking about this dude towed me up, face swollen, lip busted, bloody nose. Like this dude whooped the wheels off me. And like he really caught me off guard because he like tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around, and as soon as I turned around, bam. I really wasn't expecting that, and I was just like in the daze. And I just stood there, and this dude just hit me with this thing on combination that like just rocked my world. Um, Ran off. I didn't want no more parts of that. I got to keep it 100 with y'all. I ain't want no more of that. And I remember getting in the car with my mom, and I'm crying and I'm hollering, I'm screaming, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill him. Wait till tomorrow, mama. I'm gonna kill this dude, mama. I'm gonna kill him. And I can remember my mom. My mom usually had my back in situations, but this particular time, I don't know if she was just going through the struggles and the battles with my dad being on drugs, but she basically was like, you ain't gonna do nothing. Like, you ain't nothing but a bunch of talk. You ain't gonna do nothing. And she said that, and it was like, my mom ain't got my back. She's not encouraging me to hit this dude back like she did so many times before, you know. Usually, I had the type of mom, my mom was like, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. You know, I don't care, about the consequences. If somebody, you don't let nobody put their hands on you. If somebody hits you, you hit them back. And this particular time, she didn't say that. You know, she was like, you ain't gonna do nothing. And that's what I did. Absolutely nothing. I didn't do anything. Um, it's funny, and I wind up, making it through middle school. As far as my education, like, still wasn't the smartest kid at the school. Uh, wasn't the least intelligent either, but so I was making progress. I was starting to learn some things. And I made it through middle school, and was well on my way to high school. Um, I remember we would play basketball like during the summer. We had a basketball rim set up and onto our garage, and I remember we would play basketball, and all the neighborhood kids wanted to come to my house and play basketball because we were one of the few houses in the neighborhood that had an actual like basketball rim and basketball court. So everybody used to always come to our house and play basketball. Um, and I wasn't that good at it. I wasn't that good, but they would pick on me and call me names, and I remember they would call me. I hated that. And they would say back then we had these commercials that would come on TV, and it was talking about feed the children in Africa. And on this commercial, they would show like this skinny, bald headed African little kid with like flies all over him. And I remember to say, that's you on the commercial, that's you with the flies all over. You look just like that little boy. And I would be so hurt and so embarrassed. I'm like, you can't play basketball at my house. That was like my way of getting back. If you gonna call me names, like, you can't play basketball at my house. And they were, oh, I'm sorry, just so they can play basketball. And I would let them play. And as soon as the game was over, they'd be back to teasing me and making fun of me. Um, so made it through middle school, and I was starting high school. And you hear so much stuff about high school. This is a whole new ball field. You know, there's a lot of fights go on, and and I heard about the high school I was going to, and it was one of the biggest and worst high schools in the city. Um, was I terrified to go there? No, not really. I had an older brother, and he had just graduated from there. Few of my friends that were older than me, they were attending there. And plus, I was in a gang, so it was like I really didn't have too many worries. Like, I know some people had my back, but on the same time, I still was kind of fearful about being educated. Like, I'm going to a whole nother level of being educated now. This stuff isn't going to be as easy as it was in middle school. It's going to be a lot harder, and I kind of had like this fear of not being able to pass and get through, you know, high school or even the ninth grade, for that part. So um, I'm gonna cut off right there. This video, like, I don't know, almost 20 minutes. So I'm gonna stop it off right there and pick up on part four, uh, the beginning of high school, my high school career, because I'm becoming a man now. I'm coming into adulthood, and some things really start going down in high school. Start playing with guns. Start having sex. Um, start learning how to protect, my family. Father going deeper into his addiction. Um, I want to add this, because I talk about my dad like he was this like crackhead, and for a long time, like, I blamed my father for my situation. For me being a drug addict, for me growing up the way I did. Um, and yeah, my dad had some problems. He had a drug addiction, and I see that now as an adult. But he really was a good dude. Yeah, did he have a problem with drugs? Yes, he did. Did he have a problem with alcohol? Yes, but he really, really was a good dude. Um, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be able to have grown up with the father. He instilled some good, great values within me. He taught me how to be responsible. He taught me how to work hard. He taught me about, God, the God of my understanding. Taught me a lot. Taught me how to be a man. You know, Taught me a lot of good things. How to be responsible. A lot of good things and stuff I learned from my dad. My dad was in and out of treatment, in and out of treatment, in and out of treatment. And I can remember going to treatment, going to see my dad in treatment, right? I remember going to this treatment facility, and I remember my mom, like, sneaking him drugs in this facility, and, like, we all going around, like, to the back of the building in this alley, and my mom and my dad, they like smoking weed, and I can remember my dad looking down at me and telling me never to do this, like, don't you ever do this, and I'm like, okay, daddy, like, I never do it, not really knowing what was going on, but now looking back at it, I was like, damn, my mom was like sneaking my dad drugs into the treatment facility, because my mom looked at it like, my dad really never had a problem. Like, he just liked to get high, and that was okay with her. The reason he would go to treatment was to save his job. You know, I like to think my dad had pretty good job. Worked for one of the big three uh, motor companies, which a lot of people, a lot of fathers did in my neighborhood. Um, and I was just grateful and happy, to have a dad in my life, because I got a lot of friends, and you know they didn't even have their father in their life. They just was raised in a single parent household. So I take it and I look at it like I was blessed. Like it was a blessing for my father even to be there. You know. So yeah, my dad he would go to treatment, and he would get out, and he would become a deacon at the church, and we would go to church, and I would be an usher, and my mama would be a nurse, and my brother and my sister, they were in the choir, and we had this church family, and we became friends with the other church member. I became friends with the kids that went to the church, and I remember hanging out at this church, and that's being our home, and that's what we did for many many years until my dad decided to have a drink and go back out and would do his thing, um, and it went all bad again. He would get clean, and we would do it all over again, start going back to church or whatnot. Um, so yeah, for the most part, my dad was really really a good dude. Uh, Throw the football around with everybody in the neighborhood. I can remember one of my friends. I can remember one of the other fathers in the neighborhood was commending my dad and wishing he could be more like my dad. He wanted to get along with all the children in the neighborhood and throw the football around with them, and play basketball with them, and play baseball with them. My dad was really really involved in sports. You could open up his trunk, and he would have like hockey stick, volleyball, basketball, baseball bat, baseball glove, hockey puck, hockey stick. Like my dad loved sports, and he watched all sports, and he played all sports, and he kind of like instilled that in us. More so my older brother. My older brother was a lot bigger than me. I'm a small frame dude, so I played Pee Wee League football, and I got into sports more so when I was in high school, which I'm gonna talk about in part 4 of Raycovery's story. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video. So hopefully, if you're watching on Facebook, uh, go to my YouTube page. Got a lot more videos there to check out. You can check out part 1 and part 2 of my story, and I got 4 up and coming very soon. So peace.